I'm gonna welcome Dylan to our meeting, and
Thank you.
hope he enjoys his stay. What's the first thing on the agenda for today? The minutes, probably?
Yeah, I didn't have any issues with the minutes, did you?
No, I don't have any.
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes of the last meeting.
I'll second it. All in favor? Aye. If you, Dylan, if you have any questions on any of those bills, you can just ask.
Well, I'll try to reminisce over the past few weeks what we bought. We spend a lot of money a week.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of the stuff is, that you see in there, like chemicals, those all went out to bid, and they're, like, you don't have to worry about it because they'll kill somebody if they take them.
Right. Yeah, we couldn't.
They'll let you can't take a quart of it home, doesn't do you any good.
Actually,
They'll kill you.
there's $6,000 worth of permanganate in there that we had to go out of the bid to get. We couldn't get it.
Really?
They couldn't supply us.
They were just out.
Yeah, then she tried, we held off, we were down to 2 buckets. It was close.
How much extra do we have to pay?
I think it's about the same. I don't, because they're one of the vendors that it switches back and forth.
Okay.
Dylan,
Yes.
just a question. Are you abstaining from the meeting minutes for last time?
I didn't think I could vote on it
No,
because
he wouldn't vote on the minutes because he wasn't a member.
So he's abstaining from it?
Yeah, so,
Oh,
yeah, so
fine.
he'd abstain from it.
sorry about that.
Oh, that's
Only because he just wasn't sworn in yet, so he can't vote on stuff, on the minutes.
Taking all the fun out. and making
Even
it
though he was
official.
here listening to the meeting.
Started early.
So do you have any, you don't have any questions on the bills or
I don't
anything?
think so.
Most of the stuff is like electric bills and everything like that. There isn't much that's questionable.
We had to kind of look through in advance so there wasn't anything hanging out there.
No surprises.
Yeah.
Yeah. We didn't sign any abatements. We don't have any abatements for new business. We're gonna talk a little bit about the solar. Have you checked out any grants or anything?
I was just searching. I can find loans if you want loans and mortgages, but
How about DEP's energy division right now? They have an energy division?
I searched for it and I'll search again.
Yeah, they have one. Because they were gonna give us a third of the cost of it at one time.
How long ago?
I was here, so it must have been 6 or 7 years ago. It was a while ago. I'll tell you when it was. They had a program going, the outfalls of water plants, sewer plants and stuff. They were having an engineering company, I forget the name of it. We went out there to see them, and they were designing a generator that could be put on any outfall, and it would generate electricity, and it would be different amounts for different flows, and they were designing the impeller for it. So they had, they were going to give anybody in the towns that had an outfall, and I said to them, I want to do something, but I don't have an outfall anywhere. So I told them I wanted to do solar. And I kept bugging this guy, and he, you know, he said, well, I don't have any money for that, we're doing generators. And I said, but I don't have any water that just expels from my plant. So he called me one day and he said, I'll tell you what we're gonna do. The first grant that goes out is gonna be for solar. And we're gonna give it to you guys, so put your application in. And we're gonna pay 30% of the cost, the total cost, which is gonna be like 900 and something thousand to put solar in for all the plants, all the pumping stations in this building. And he said, and then you'll sell your green credits, and that'll make you borrow the rest of the money, the 2/3, and then you sell your green credits, and that'll pay the mortgage payment until it's paid off. You get that for 10 years, so you borrow the money for 10 years. So it's beautiful. So I'm all excited. I come in and I told the water commissioners that I finally had a grant to do the solar, and all I had to do was make the application. So I'm gonna make the application this week, and we're gonna be awarded the grant. And Tommy Sell says, I make a motion that we don't make the application, and Hugh Hurley says, I'll second that, and they said, all in favor, aye, and that was the end of it. So that was the night I said, I think I'm gonna retire. I've been working at this for 2 years, and I really think that we should be doing this, because what I wanted to do was make it big enough so we're getting rid of our $80,000 electric bill that we have every year, and also have enough electricity so we could go over to electric trucks, electric vans in the future. But,
Application for that wouldn't still be kicking around the office somewhere.
no,
No, I don't think
Something
so.
that we could figure out at least who to contact.
I bet if we get a hold of DEP and the energy division, we'll see if they got some money there for
The
us.
way the state's pushing to get off carbon, you'd think they'd have something available for
I
something,
would think so.
because that's a large enough scale, and we're paying more than 80 grand a year now for
Yeah,
electricity.
well, I was saying 80,000, because that's what it was when I was doing
Yeah,
it.
that's probably like 8 years plus
Yeah,
ago.
it's been a while. So when I built mine, now they've already paid for mine. Mine's, well, I paid 58,000 for mine, and they've already paid 48,000, and I got like 3 more years left on the payments. So they're gonna more than pay me back, not in electrical bill savings. This is in checks that they mailed me to sell the green credits. So they had actually paid for it. They bought the system, and I haven't paid for electricity. I bought electric cars. I haven't bought gasoline in 6 years, and I haven't paid an electric bill. Then I switched over to heat pumps, so I use those in the spring and the fall, which I reduced my gas bill, my natural gas bill to heat the house. So I reduced that, and I had air conditioning that I never had before, and I'm not paying an electric bill. So it was like, I couldn't understand why we weren't doing that down here, because we got bigger bills down here than I had at home.
Hope so.
So I just like to see if we can do something and get some aid from the state or federal government or somebody. And it just makes sense. If we can, actually start changing over our vehicles, we're not gonna be able to change over right away, the big dump trucks and stuff like that. But they're gonna come out with vans in the future here where we can just plug them in at night and drive around all day. And I found that my electric car, they're as powerful, they're more powerful than the gasoline cars, so. And there's a lot less maintenance on them. So, I don't know, I like to research it and see if there's somebody out there that can help us out, and maybe we can get something. So do you think you can look into it?
I'm not sure if this is what you were talking about, Rick, but I just found something. It's the Department of Energy and environmental protection.
Yep,
They have an energy savings performance contracting, it's called, with municipalities.
there you go. They started that when I was here, that was a brand new division.
You know, I just looked at it quick, I'm not sure if this is exactly it, but it seems to be talking about working with the municipalities on projects for municipal buildings.
So why don't you look into it and see if we can meet with somebody, Wayne, from that department, and, see if we, I know that, Stantec they had figured how many, solar panels we needed at each location to run the entire operation. They had figured out the kilowatts, hours that we use at each place.
Yeah.
And, they had it all figured out. So, I think, and ratepayers paid $10,000 to have Stantec do that. We went to town meeting, and the town meeting was excited about, building it. And so this was the money for the engineers to engineer it, so that, because that was one of the things that you had to have, is you had to have a plan when you went for a grant, you know what I mean? You just can't have an idea, you have to have a plan. And, we were all ready, and they were gonna help us, and I still don't know why they voted it down. So, why don't you, do that and see if we can get a meeting with them sometime.
Yep.
Okay. So, that's the end of new business. What's new, Wayne, on station 1, 2, 4?
Those are all, the pilots are all approved, we're just waiting for funding. Town meeting, they're still moving forward. Nothing's really changed there except update on the replacement well. That they actually put in the wellhead, the pitless adapter, they connected all the piping up. So that part of it's all done.
Oh,
Now they're onto the VFD drives, but we're hearing that the VFD drives, it could be almost a year to get those.
what?
So
You're kidding.
they're long lead
Where
up.
are they made, in China or something?
Well, everything is.
Honest to God.
They're already made, they're on a cargo container ship somewhere circling around in San
If
Francisco.
we're lucky, they're on that Maryland one that's stuck and they're gonna free up sooner or later.
They got it free.
Oh, did they?
They
Yeah.
just did.
Yeah, that one got free the other day.
But yeah, they have all their information, because they requested the nameplates for the other drive, for the other well, and I gave that to them, so they're trying to requisition it and get it ordered.
Station 3, pilot study,
Yep, it's all approved, we're just waiting.
waiting on that one.
Yep,
Update on replacement well.
that was, the
Yeah.
piping, it's all done.
And for Station 3, do we have any newer results
I
over there?
just checked, maybe because I pulled like 10 samples in this round, we got slower, but last month I pulled them in like under a week, I had the results back.
Yeah.
So I was hoping for the same, and no, I just got a receipt that they received my samples, which they've had them for a little more than a week and a half.
How about our asset management grant?
So that's all complete, you guys have to decide who wants to sit with, Tatter and Howard. They've told you what's gonna happen to the budget if the projects get funded and move forward, and you really don't have a choice, you have to move forward with the projects. So it's a matter of what they stipulated for the rate. I think they actually stipulated going up on the basic and reducing your allotment, which I don't think that's a good idea. I think there's a sweeter spot in going up on the basic and then increasing the allotment a little.
Well, didn't we ask him to come back in with the schedule to have
Yeah.
him in here with
Well, they
all,
want-
with
so
all the
they'll
rate
come in,
information to go
So
over?
that's why they're asking if one of you, if more than one of you meet with them, then it's a public meeting.
Right,
If one of you meets with them, then it's a non-public meeting.
but I think we all need to meet with
Yeah,
them, and something important like the rates.
All right, that's all that they were asking, it's not, and he asked, but you guys didn't really respond.
I thought we left it that they were gonna come back into.
No, all right, so I'll tell them to come back in then. But what they did is not, it's an asset management rate study, it's not a rate study.
I think,
That's an entirely separate thing, it's that they've just gotten you to what you need for assets and what it's gonna do to your budget. It's up to you guys out of that information.
what you might be talking about there with one person is when I was telling them that we raise money in other ways than water rates to pay for the water.
Yeah, no, they were trying to, they don't mind, it's up to you, if you wanna be on camera doing it, it's fine, and there's nothing to be hidden about it anyways.
Yeah,
Well, whatever we decide, they're gonna get hit with in the pocket.
Right.
So if they wanna see it on camera from the
Yeah, we
meeting.
gotta
That way,
see it.
because I asked Scott to run the numbers for like the 10 million, and that was an $800,000 payment. They drop off right away, and I don't understand how their payment in the future, in the budget moving forward, how it drops off as fast as it does. Because when I look at Scott's numbers, they don't drop off, and Scott's fairly, I kinda trust Scott, because I know
Yeah,
him.
right. Yeah, the numbers aren't gonna drop off that
No,
fast.
they don't, not until way at the end will you see a significant drop. And then it might be pushing Scott to see if he can get a longer, I don't know anything about the financing, but 30 years, if you can get it out longer, I mean, the plant's gonna be around for a long time, it's not,
You can't usually get them for more than 20 or 30, I don't think.
alright, cause I know 30 is the most, usually it's against the life of the asset.
Isn't that what the other iron removal plant was?
I believe it was a 30 year.
Yeah, and I think that we went max on that. Now that looks like peanuts.
Yeah, because they're talking like 2 to 3 million just for the overhaul, for the long-term overhaul. But they're also saying that because everything, you can't get anything, the prices are up. They're way up because of.
I bought the land, built the building and everything for $3 million.
I know, and
Water
just a
mains,
small addition.
electric lines down to the pumping station, all that.
Right,
And that was $3 million. Huh. And we bought the land, all the land under the building.
Different time.
Yep,
It was a
Yeah.
while ago.
yep. Wow.
alright, so I'll ask them to come in then.
So we're not, and so that 10 million, when you think about it, that's not even buying land. We already have the land.
Right.
That's just building a building on our own land. Ay, ay, ay. So Walnut Street's on hold, wait for funding.
Yeah.
We were just talking about Lincoln Street. Any word on Lincoln Street?
I have not heard from anybody on it. Other than the last set of drawings that went around that they emailed, they didn't produce sets.
Now that last set of drawings, you ever see another set of drawings? That had the sidewalk and the water main ending at their end of their property, right?
Yeah, it ends where our water main does.
Yeah. Okay. Denise thought maybe you should show that to David up to the town hall, just show him how far his sidewalk goes. My discussion with David, he's, oh no, it's going all the way down. I don't know if he knows it. I said, well, it's not drawn there. So, you may wanna just show him that the sidewalk doesn't go all the way down. But he said, oh no, he was assured that. And from what I understand, the planning board approved it without a sidewalk,
They did?
didn't they?
Well, there's there aren't any plans anywhere showing the sidewalk going where the understanding is the sidewalk was gonna go. So if they have an approved set of plans, and I don't know if the planning board formally approved it or not, but if they have, it's approved.
Oh, I
above the
thought I was
sidewalk.
told that the planning board approved it even without our water main on there, but I thought they had approved it.
I don't know if they've got final approval or not.
Yeah.
Not being on the planning board.
I think what I would suggest is you have a set of plans that were the last set of plans you were presented. I would
Well, we
suggest,
were presented a set of plans for the water main. There are multiple sets and multiple engineering firms moving about, doing various things, but the set I have, it has more to deal with the street and the sidewalk than anything else.
right, and that's what I'm talking about. So what I would say is if our understanding is the sidewalk goes all the way down. If you're being presented a set of plans to review for the water department's purposes, and it's different from what the expectation is, you should get that set of plans to David and say, this is what they're presenting to us for us to complete
Just so he
our
can, just so he can
analysis.
see it, so that,
I'll show them, but
Yeah.
doesn't the town have a clerk of the works on this thing and supposed to be looking up?
We have a
for the town?
planner? No, we don't, we need a planner.
I thought.
Clearly
But we have,
Yeah.
is it Noise doing that?
Yeah, you have somebody doing the job.
Right, have you spoken with him?
No, cause I'm not a clerk of the
Okay.
works, I'm
So,
here.
so my point is, you know, from what you've been told, the sidewalk's supposed to go all the way down.
Well, if it
You're-
wasn't for these guys, that sidewalk would still be way back up at the Shell station.
But I think at this point, I mean, they have not come to you for anything, you've not approved anything. But
Right,
if they ask to be put on your agenda in 2 weeks, it would probably be a good idea to be ahead of it
I'll
rather than
show
behind
David the
it.
plans, it's in my notes to do that.
Right, so I would send it to him and just, confirm, this is what you have to complete your analysis and decision on.
I
Well,
mean,
but again, we can show him it's informational, but we can't hold them up for anything water related
Right.
on the
Right.
sidewalk, cause that's not part of,
no, that,
we're
I was just
gonna
trying to
try
bring
to
up,
get the extra
bring
water.
you guys
back.
up to date with what is actually on the plan, so that I'm looking out for the whole town, where we can only control what goes on in the water department. But when I listen to the other selectmen and other committees, they expect that there's gonna be a sidewalk, and I'm looking at the plan saying, they haven't got a sidewalk.
Right, but that,
So-
I mean, just to avoid any confusion, since you know, you have it, and you're right, to your point, your decision on water is completely.
Just show David, just show him and
Right.
say, David,
Get it
this
out
is
there,
what we
circulate it.
have.
I wasn't, I mean, I don't believe the the planning board gave them final approval. I could be incorrect,
See, I don't,
but last I knew, it was in your hands.
So on this project, I had to disclose that I'm a butter through proximity. I don't know if I can vote on it yet. I'm
I
not
don't
a
think that
director.
affects anything, does it?
I don't have any financial gain or
No.
anything like
yeah,
that.
I don't, cause you're on the opposite side of the street, it's actually gonna run down.
I'm on South Elm.
Yeah,
So I'm not even fed by that same main, right? I'm fed from a different main on South Elm.
oh, if,
They're all,
no, it's one big system. It's-
Right,
When it ties, it won't have any effect, you already have water, so for you,
Right.
there's no gain.
yeah.
so I talked to David and he's gonna give me an answer from town council. When I talked to him, he said he was gonna talk to Dee Bartolo at 6. So, I don't know.
well, we don't have anything to vote on it tonight anyway,
Right.
because they still haven't come
Well,
back to us.
you can notify, the ethics commission what the situation is, and as, I think you file it with the town hall, and then if nobody has any objection, you just go on as normal.
We usually just go to town council and let him give us a legal decision and,
Yeah, so we were just waiting to hear back from him.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about something like that,
Yeah,
unless you're working for the guy or something, you know what I mean, you gotta, that's the
small
only.
town, so everyone
Yeah,
has an
you're-
interest in
you're-
everything.
You're better off asking and
Oh, yeah.
getting something for yourself
Right.
than
Yeah,
doing
No, no,
it
you're
first
better
and
off
having it
asking.
come back to bite you later. But if they don't come back to us with anything, we won't be voting
Right.
yeah,
anyway. I mean, this is, I don't wonder, because they were in such a rush.
yeah, they were, last fall, they were gung ho to start, they're gonna start running that main down, 106 there.
Yeah, they were gonna be in West Center
Oh.
Street,
That's what I
digging
thought
that
too.
all up over the winter.
And I was surprised that we, haven't heard anything for about a month and a half, and I knew it was
I wonder if
here
they,
with you.
you know, big company like that or a big contractor that, he's got other developments and with all the delays and materials and everything else and other projects, he's probably got headaches with other projects, so he's probably just, maybe just holding this one off till he gets his other ones done, you know? Cause it seems like everything you order these days, you gotta wait
Hard.
6 months for it, so. That might be it, I don't know.
Yeah, life is one big
But he's
backward.
already bought, the properties there, hasn't he? Has he bought the land?
I don't know if he's physically bought them, like sometimes it's the purchase and sales that hangs there until near the end. Claims it does,
He
the
bought
house is empty up
Dempsey's.
there, the
He bought
cabinets got
Dempsey's
emptied
house.
out, and the other house, the power's
He bought
off.
the house. Dempsey's house?
I know that was part of it, was
Yeah.
not purchasing that.
Yeah, but I mean, I think he actually purchased that
They
already.
closed?
Yeah,
I don't know if they
Yeah.
closed.
that's what I heard.
Yeah, I don't know.
They may have.
So, well. Okay, well, that's what we know, so
That's, and
just
told
let
what I
you know. How about, we still got an old business here, Ross Messina's,
I have not heard from them. Every now and then I'll see them putting around on West Chestnut Street, but,
Yeah.
I mean, they've done some clearing and put on some gravel.
and the next thing on the agenda is capital
Well, that's all, we're just waiting for town meeting now.
and job posting.
So, I have two applicants, I haven't heard back, I know they were in that bunch. I didn't wanna appoint anybody, I'd rather you look through them.
Alright, I've been.
I have a whole
I
pile
I'll-
that I haven't forwarded to you because,
I'll make a point, I'll go through them this week and I'll get back to you. I've just been straight out.
I'll make sure the two names are in there and that way. But it's the only people that stood out in the crowd as being anything.
Yeah, I got an email from David, you got it too, about the lawyers, the Board of Selectmen filed, for a class action suit for the PFAS
So I've
chemical
been
that's in the water.
following that, and I don't know why the town, and maybe she can answer, but maybe she just, I
Well,
don't know why the town got involved when it doesn't, it's a water department thing, but it does, I don't really care. I've been following the lawsuits, there are several class action lawsuits going
yeah,
on.
but they're already involved in one. They've already signed up for one, for us, for as a town. So the lawyer who's handling it
It's
wants to
supposed
talk
be-
to us
Right,
about
and
our
I told
tests.
him I'd be available Friday.
Hmm?
Alls I've heard is there's a Zoom call on Friday.
Okay. What time of day was that?
I don't think it specified a time. He was supposed to be arranging it.
Was there a deadline for joining the class action?
No, because it's all just beginning. The federal government hasn't even enacted any legislation on PFAS yet. And there's gonna be PFAS 29 with one for, what the hell is lithium?
Yeah.
Well, in my opinion, whatever class
Lithium,
actions are out
what's it-
there, we should join them.
Is lithium getting in the water now?
If there's,
Everything's getting in the water.
Honest to
You know,
God.
water is the universal solvent,
I
right?
know.
That's what they used to say. Everything dissolves in it to some extent. And yeah, they've been pushing all the lithium for all the batteries, and now those are gonna break down and that's gonna get in. So I mean, I'm around on Friday if you come up with something.
Yeah, it just says next
Fine.
Friday. He's during normal working hours.
Next Friday, meaning this Friday.
Yeah, yes.
So,
Yeah, I'm around, just let me know what time I can
Yeah.
get on the call.
because they wanted to know if I wanted to do it, but I thought maybe when you're up to date on the engineer and he's got our records, that the two of you talking to the lawyer about us would be better than
Yeah.
me talking
I
to him,
can,
so.
I can do that.
It's just gonna end up coming down to where you were affected and how we were affected, and then what was your costs. So Manley Street is basically the
Well,
most
no,
direct.
no, that isn't how they start out. It's not what your cost, because it didn't cost you anything yet. When we get done building the treatment plants for it, it'll be millions of dollars.
Yep,
So they're just starting the suit, and he's just trying to bring himself up to date on where we are and what we may have to build, and he's gonna talk to the other towns. That's what we did with with that other.
Or the MTBE.
Yeah,
and the gas
MBTE.
stations.
That went on for like 4 or 5 years. I kept taking samples, I kept sending them in, and I thought that everybody on the other end fell asleep. You know, the years went by, we were just still sending in samples. Till all of a sudden, one day they called and they said, we need to have you test like for the next 5 months, once a month. I was like, something's getting active here, you know, we're doing a little bit more, I don't know what it's all about. And then we did those samples and we sent them in, and the remarkable thing was that over the whole country, I think there was only 360 towns of the whole country that signed up for this. So they made the settlement for millions of dollars, and I think we got 2 million or
What, paid for the
2.5
water
million
tank?
or something, huh?
Paid for the water tank, didn't it?
Yeah, well, it paid $1 million for
It's a
it.
big chunk.
We paid $1 million for it, and there was other money that we used that money for something else, and then we gave 100,000 to the town.
That's what you hope for with these class actions, is that you join in right at the very beginning and others don't. Otherwise, the final distributions
Right,
might
if
be
you
very
get
diluted.
10,000 people, you're not gonna get that much.
jumping in on the guy who jumps in on another one, and your 4 lawyers removed, and
Well, that's why you wanna
It's gonna
sign up for
happen.
them, right, as soon as they start, so
It paid off for us, and that's how we got the water tank up on Walnut
I'm
Street.
not against it, it's,
No, you just do it, and this guy's gonna tell you what he's gonna need for testing and stuff, and you just do it, and you just send the stuff in, and you might be retired by the time they
I'll
get
be
the,
gone by the time they ever get money.
but-
Yeah, it could be
you
years.
just- you just go along with it, and they negotiate, and sooner or later, we're gonna have to get the stuff out of the water, we're gonna be adding these treatment systems to all these new projects we got, and we're gonna have a mortgage to pay, and maybe we could get some help from somebody else to help pay for it. So there's no reason that we should be trying to take it out of the water, we didn't put it in there. So the people, the big chemical
You can
companies.
say that all you want, you're still stuck taking it out, so. You don't have,
We're still us
you don't have
consumers
much
putting
choice.
it in.
No, I know we gotta take it out, but I'm not sure that, in the end, hand the bill to somebody else further down the line. So, let's just meet with them, don't blow them off, you just you talk to them and sign us up, and give them whatever they need
We're
for,
already signed up apparently,
Right,
so,
Friday,
yep,
so yeah, Friday, I'll, just let me know when it is.
yep.
I'll keep everything open till then.
alright, sounds good, thank you, Ron. That's, I think that's the end of the agenda. You got anything, Wayne?
Beacon Park,
Oh, that's right, Beacon Park. What were your thoughts on that one, Art?
Oops, sorry. Go away.
Should we explain what happened up there? or-
Yeah, probably explain it first, but I mean, it seems like. we
Beacon
need
Park
to-
had, back in the, I think it was in the 40s, 1940s or 50s, that thing was built. And they used AC pipe. That's the illegal pipe today that nobody wants. So they've had a lot of leaks up there over the years, and when they built the thing, they didn't put shut-offs in for each trailer. If they got a leak, we had to shut the main off out at the street, and everybody in the park lost the water because they didn't have shut-offs. And ever since, what's his name? Ed Madero's bought it, he's been trying to upgrade it and replace things, and he added shut-offs. I know over the years he was adding shut-offs to everything, so he didn't have to shut the whole park off. And then Wayne called me the other day and said he was ready for a pressure test and chlorination on a C900 piece of pipe. That was 8-inch, was it?
I don't even know what size he ran. I think it's 8-inch, but I'm not sure.
Hopefully that's our minimum size pipe. And we changed our regulations to ductile iron steel. But this being private property, and the town is never going to accept it as roads in there, that,
Never say that.
you know, well,
They took Pearl Road
Yeah.
and the farm.
Although, we took Pearl Road, except it still says private way. I was gonna,
Somebody
That's
doesn't take
supposed to
them.
be updated, that's a town road.
it still says private way on the signs.
Yeah, they just didn't take it down. I don't think nobody's ever said anything when we drive in there anyway. So.
Yeah.
so Wayne was asked to go up there to do an inspection and witness a pressure test and chlorination. And when he saw the C900 pipe, he said, you can't put C900 pipe in. And I guess I didn't know that.
Well, I haven't told Ed yet. I haven't told Ed that yet. But he's already got the pipe in the ground. By the time he called me for the pressure test, it's already in the ground and buried.
Is this replacing existing pipe
No,
feeding, or is he's extending it?
He's extending in there.
Oh, he extended it. I thought he replaced. You
No,
said
he's
replaced.
extending.
Oh. Huh. How many feet did he do?
I haven't called him yet because I just know how the conversation will go if I have to argue with him.
So, I'd like to know how many feet it was. I thought he had replaced the AC pipe that was.
No, he's not. He paved it over. He's not gonna dig up anything.
Oh, he repaved the whole park?
Yeah,
So this is an extension to serve new,
new trailers.
you know how many of them?
I have no idea. That's why I mentioned by not telling us, he's putting himself more in excess every time he adds a trailer. If he doesn't tell us, then he doesn't get more excess. I mean, more basic. So then he puts himself in excess each time. So he's
Right.
actually costing himself money by not talking to us.
Well, he can't have the trailers in there yet, and he can't have people living there if he has any pressure tests or chlorinated, because they won't have
Right,
water.
he's just pressure testing and chlorinating right
Yeah, so he hasn't even got that far yet. He just did an extension. So what do you have thoughts on that one?
I mean, we have regulations in there, and we're holding other people to those regulations. I mean, we should be holding him to the regulation too. It'd be nice to know how much it is, you know, how much is actually in the ground. I don't know how, I mean, technically, if he's adding houses, he should be, which is what he's doing.
Right.
Like if a subdivision came in with 5 more houses, they'd be paying connection fees for 5 houses, which he's not doing
Right.
that for the trailers.
Did he use
So
copper
he
services?
could go around and do whatever he wanted in there without us having.
And he used blue plastic, I believe.
On the service lines?
I think so, yeah. That's what I heard.
Wouldn't he have had to pull a permit?
I don't know what he does in there.
But I'm just saying, if you were a homeowner, that's
Did you
private
talk to the
property,
building
if I
inspector
started tearing
about
up
I
my
have not
ground.
spoken to anybody yet, because now we're just back. I didn't, I wasn't even in on Friday when I
Well,
found
I
out
would
late
think
in the
that the
day.
planning board would have to see something like that.
That's what I'm saying, if it was my personal residence, like this is private property, if I wanted to tear up the ground and put in pipe and all of that, and there's gotta be wetlands there, there's wetlands everywhere in West Bridgewater, so I'm sure there's some area with wetlands. You would think this would have gone, you know, at least to the building inspector for a plan and possibly
Right.
conservation.
I don't know how you can
I
make,
know it
make
goes to the
lots
building
and not
inspector,
follow the
because he
planning board.
does send out memos when he's
Yeah,
doing
we
a
have
new
to have
trailer, when he
anything
wants
from him on-
occupancy for the new trailers.
So when this
or
project
manufactured
started,
home. But I've not seen anything, I read the planning board minutes, and I've never seen anything come across.
No, and Mike hasn't sent anything out about anything going over.
Right,
yet.
usually you won't see it until he looks for occupancy, and then he starts asking.
I mean, I'd like you to maybe find out, oh, go ahead Denise, sorry.
I'm just saying, it seems with the type of excavating he would have been doing and the type of work, he would have gone to the building department first for a permit.
Well, if nothing, he would have had to get a trench opening.
He should have pulled the trench permit.
Okay,
Because that doesn't matter whether you're in private or public, any
Right.
time you dig a hole, you're supposed to have that.
that's what I meant, trench opening.
You're welcome.
Well, I would think that he must have, I don't know how you could build a lot and plan on putting a building on it without going to somebody. You gotta,
Yeah.
somebody must have known something.
I mean, because I could almost see, if he had a piece of existing pipe that was a problem and he got another, and he just went in there and replaced it, I could kind of see him figuring
Yeah.
on that. But if he's extending pipe through the park to put in more, he needs, I don't
Why
know,
don't you
to me, he needs to follow our stuff,
Yeah.
our
Ask
steps.
him-
and
ask,
if not, he's gotta come in.
Yeah, ask him to come in and see us. Let's sit down with him and see what he did. Let's see if he's replacing a main, extending a main, building lots, let's find out what he's
This
actually
is
up.
Westbridge Landing, right?
What's that?
Westbridge
Yeah.
Landing. You were going back 40 years, you were calling it Beacon.
Oh. Oh, yeah.
The sign actually says up front anymore.
Is it the sign gone?
I'm not sure, I'll have to look at the sign.
I knew what you were talking about. Dylan, maybe not so.
No,
No, I knew what he was talking about until you said Westbridge Landing, it didn't even dawn on me that it changed. Cause yeah, it changed when you
Yeah, I
bought it.
forgot they
Right.
changed the name, I still call it Beacon. Yeah, they hate it when you call it a trailer park,
It's a manufactured home,
manufactured homes.
and truly it is, it's just,
Yeah, the trailers are gone now.
yeah.
But we still can't get credit for it for affordable housing.
I know. But some of them are absolutely amazing. It's beautiful.
Oh, the
Yeah.
double
Inside,
wides,
oh,
yeah,
yeah, they're-
it's not like the old ones.
It's not, yeah, it's not what you think. You walk inside and it's like,
He's
wow.
done a good job up there.
Mhm.
He's
If you
trying.
go in, like, I wanna say 75% of it is all new homes now,
Yeah,
it's not the old ones.
well, why don't you talk to him
I'll give him
and
a
just
call.
see if he'll come in and sit down with us. If you're afraid of,
I'm not afraid of them, I just know how discussions
just have him
go.
come in and talk to us. We can talk to him, I get along with him, I don't have any problem.
He must have had an engineer. But
Maybe
this-
not.
Really?
I mean, if all he's doing is laying pipe, all he needs is a
Yeah, he
backhoe.
just puts down a cement pad and then the home comes in. And
Yeah,
he's doing
yeah,
he's
you
doing
can do
it
that,
correctly now.
Huh?
You can't add, like, if your mother-in-law wants to move in your backyard, you can't pour a pad and put your mother-in-law's, double-sided house in the backyard. You gotta get a permit. You gotta go to somebody, you gotta get a Board of Appeals, you gotta go to the planning board, you gotta do something. Go to the building inspector, where you gonna get the water and sewage from, you know, and all those things. I don't,
Yeah,
Doesn't
so
seem
I
right.
wonder if he
Something's-
went to the Board of Health, because if he's adding into what's, well, he was tied into Brockton.
yeah, he's
Yeah.
tied
Yeah.
in
He's
Brockton.
tied into Brockton, that's right.
But I would think he'd have to notify them too. He's gotta add sewage.
Maybe.
I don't know if he's ever finished battling with them.
Well, if he comes in, talks to us about the water. and-
Just ask Ed to
Yeah.
come in and see us and we'll discuss it with him. If you see the building inspector, ask him. That's the building inspector if he knows anything about that project up there. And when I talked to you, I thought you were saying he replaced the water line. I was
No.
saying, oh, good, we got rid of some of that old junk. But
No, if it was that, you might say, okay, well, this time, just this time, leave it in, but if you're doing extensions and
And then,
stuff too.
and I think that AC pipe is only 6 inch.
Yeah, I think so.
It's only 6 inch in there. We have a requirement of 8 inch minimum.
The meter pit stuff all done over there?
In his park, yes.
Okay.
Ours, we haven't started, because they used our site, I don't know what they ran in the other park, but they used our construction site.
Which one, the
Matt-
one next door?
Yeah.
Matfield Woods, that's 8 inch.
Yeah,
That's all 8 inch, the whole thing. And that's C900, that whole park.
I can't remember. No, we cut into cast iron, when we cut into cast iron.
When you did the pit,
Yep,
yeah, that's only because it went in the pit. I think we put it in there.
all
We
right,
did that ourselves. We didn't want to put plastic through the concrete wall in case it put stress on it, so I know that we did
yeah.
ductile iron steel at that point. Just so we didn't have any problems. That's when you could get ductile iron, no problem. But, no, I think that whole, look, bring up your map there. Can you bring that up?
Let's see how long it takes to load.
Oh, and I was on Cross Street the other day. One of your fire hydrants caps are painted wrong. They're painted green. They gotta be orange.
I know nothing about it.
Oh, you didn't go and paint it, and change the color?
I don't know where the guys get their information on color coding.
What's the purpose of the color?
Maybe it's for our firemen too, but it's mostly for out-of-towners when they come in. They know that a green cap means there's a 12-inch main and that there's over 3,000 gallons a minute in that hydrant. And if it's got orange, I think it's under 1,500 a minute. If the caps on the side are orange. If it's red, that means they're 4-inch. So the whole 4-inch, you're not gonna get any fire protection. It's gonna give you a drink.
Yeah, it means don't hook up the pumper truck to the ones.
Oh,
that are
Right.
red, you know.
And the other thing that can happen is if they put a pumper truck on an 8-inch main and they think it's a 12 and they turn the pumper on, they could collapse like 1,000 feet of pipe.
Oh,
It'll just crush it flat.
so who's the cap painter?
So the cap paint is when you take our map and you poke on it with a lightning rod, it tells you what the color code of every hydrant in town is based on what size main. And what the guys are out painting, they're doing a great job painting, but I keep coming across caps that I just know are wrong. You know, I see green caps, and if I know it's not a 12-inch main, cross it doesn't have a 12-inch main on it.
But who actually paints them?
Well, it's our guys.
Our guys do it,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
What do you wanna look at?
Cross Street, you said, I think?
No, no, that was the cap.
No, that was the cap. Matter of fact, are you on
Matt-
Cross Street?
No, Matfield Woods.
I wanna see
pipe type.
Matfield Woods, what kind of main it is.
It says 8-inch CI at the beginning, and it says 8-inch CI in the middle. Right in there.
Really? Cast iron?
Yep,
Would be cast iron. We weren't using cast iron in those days. It would have been ductile.
Well,
But I thought it was,
when that went in?
yeah. I don't think it was cast.
Wait, go up and dig a pit.
it did.
Huh. I could have sworn that was plastic pipe in there. Might be. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I don't wanna
What size are the mains in the beacon park there or whatever?
That's a 6-inch AC,
6 inch?
yeah.
Yeah. See, 6 inch AC.
Geez, where the heck did he extend it?
He's been doing things, I know he did, I think there's already a line back here. And he might have ended up down here, I haven't been in there yet. He's pretty much tapped out in whatever he can do, cause I think in behind it's all wetlands.
I was gonna say, that point, because that was part of what was getting flooded out years ago.
Yeah.
too.
And it, yeah,
It was all floodplain in there.
yeah, pretty much, yeah, cause you don't see his.
Yeah, he was in trouble there for building a berm or something years
Well,
ago.
what he did work though, he dried out that park.
I know, he did a good job of what he did, but
Yeah.
the,
And he stopped,
some people
came not
didn't
getting
like it.
flood anymore, what he did worked.
yeah, he built a dike there so that the
He-
fire department doesn't have to go down there and take the residents out in canoes.
Yeah.
He just didn't get permission to do it.
Well, he got permission from the town, it was the state that came in and,
Sometimes things happen.
yeah, I gotta check with everybody.
So what's this to the right? That's Westbridge Landing there, and over here we have Mattville Woods?
Yes.
Okay. And that first picture with the 8-inch pipe, that was Mattville Woods.
Yeah.
Do you have a hydrant on there?
What do you mean a hydrant?
Just anyway, take your information, your identification, and tap on the hydrant.
Let me find one first. Let's see if that one has one. I don't think that one's gonna light up blue because it looks too small. Oh, it did.
Okay, that's a picture of it. Now, where's the information on it?
And this one, that doesn't seem to be, let me drag to another, but they might not be in this one. I know there's one at the corner. Where is it?
This?
No, getting closer.
Right
There's one right there.
It's not bringing up the other.
Are you doing the lightning rod, or are you
Yeah.
doing the
Doing the lightning rod.
the information one? Do the information one, the I.
Alright, let me get this one right there. Let me just make sure that one's active first. Alright, it lit up. So that's the image.
Yeah, lightning rod only brings up pictures. You have to go to the I. There it is. Now, doesn't it have color in there? Color of the
Cap color's orange.
Huh?
Cap color orange.
See, so when the guys are out painting them, all they gotta do is go to the map, they poke on the hydrant that they're working on, and it tells them what color the cap is.
So, we
From
haven't
the right,
painted
they just-
anymore.
they should
The
just
guy
be the
who
same
painted
color.
the caps doesn't work for us anymore. And he painted them the color, as far as I was told, he painted them the color that he took off. He just painted them the same. That's all I know.
Who did this?
Well, he doesn't work for us anymore.
Oh, okay. Well, he didn't because they were all right. When I left, they were all right. So somebody needs to check them because when I drive around town, I know the colors of the hydrants just off the top of my head because I did them for so many years. And I'm like, oh, that one's wrong. Who did that? Oh, that one's wrong. Sometimes I run across them, they're right, but I'm like, where are they getting this information from? It's all in the computer. So,
Can you
do
just
they have
download?
that, they have that in the truck, don't they? Wayne?
So on the iPads, I'm not sure how much information is in there because we manipulate the information.
So which means you couldn't put the color cap
Right,
colors
you
in
can
there.
turn it on and have the color, the
Yeah.
cap color in there. I know we're not gonna have time to paint any caps for a while, but.
Well,
We-
I won't have to
Before
worry
the
about
next
that for a
time.
while. Yes, before the next time. Hopefully I'm gone.
when you changed out all those
I was
hydrants,
thinking that.
did you go through and change the pictures of the hydrants?
We're updating, they actually have a program to do that when we have spare time. She set up a program on the iPads for them to go out and update all the information.
Because how you're gonna have to have a date when they install them. And how I used to do it, if you keep all of your dig safe, dates,
Yeah.
I use those dig safe dates, because sometimes by the time you get to it, it may be a year later, and you could just look back at your dig safe date for that hydrant when you replace it, and that's where you get the date, because don't let them say, oh,
They have manufacturer years stamped into them too.
huh?
They have manufacturer years stamped into them.
Yeah, but sometimes they'll sell you a hydrant that's been sitting in the yard for 2 years, so, you know, you're better off with your dig safe date, that's gonna be a closer date. So those are, before you replaced any, all those were accurate. Those were all from the old records that, Bill Nickerson had years ago, all handwritten. We put all that in there. All right, does anybody else have anything?
I have a question. So where are we with the water advisory? Are we out of a water advisory, bottled water advisory, or are we still in it?
There is, no, we're out of it. I'm not allowed to send out anything. The memo, the letters that get sent out are from Mass DEP directly. I'm only allowed to edit a couple of things inside of that letter, period.
So,
But we're out of the, we've tested.
We've been
Well,
passing,
we don't,
Like
you
6
don't
months
send out a "we're out of it" letter.
Right.
Basically, because
they don't let
that's
us.
not, you
You
send
can't
out.
give them good news, you can only give them bad news.
Yeah,
okay.
So we've tested on the good side for, I think, 6 tests in a row. That's why I hurried to get the last one done, because it's been dropping at Manley Street, so I wanted to test the raw water too, because I wanna see if, got a lot of things happening in our water resource area that, not good for our plant.
Did you ever talk to the fire department
On,
on the, using the phone up on
the new
Manley
chief
Street?
is really, he's really good, because he has more contact with me when things are going on than I like, but he asks the right questions and I give him the right answers.
Okay, but they're aware of the fact that we have a problem with this chemical in our water and it comes from foam.
They have their own issues with their suits, that the
Yeah.
very clothing that they wear is covered in it.
yeah.
And PFAS.
So if they're not aware of PFAS, then
Well,
I'll send them an email if that's what you're asking.
you know, I think you should get out and talk to the
I-
chief about it and tell him that, you know, from what I understand, they had a truckload of tires that were on fire and they used foam and then they washed it down the drain.
That was the old chief, it wasn't, and he's 2 chiefs back.
Okay, so what happened in West Bridgewater? So, you know, the fire department may be still on the same policy where we use the foam, we're gonna wash it down the drain.
I would hope
That's what I'm
not.
saying. So we
I will
gotta
send him
make
an
sure,
email.
we gotta make sure that they understand that that's not a good practice.
I would hope that they know that, but I will send him an email saying that if he has any concerns, do not contact me about the use of PFAS. When it happens, if you're gonna use any PFAS foam, contact me directly the minute it's happening, so I can be involved from the start.
So back to the water.
Yep.
Did you shut off the valve out?
No, that's still on.
So if people want
They
to,
can still come down, and if I happen to be out there, I let them know that we've been compliant for 5+ months.
okay, so just so make sure I've got this right.
Yeah, I've told a few people.
Yeah, the
that
state
would-
will not let you send out any
No, that's why they,
notification that
right,
we're currently below the levels
right,
and that the water advisory is not in effect.
correct.
But for all intents and purposes, we've been below levels for,
Right, it's a quarterly
How many-
advisory, it's,
right. So,
Since November.
since November,
Right.
we've
Yep.
been below the 20
Yep.
running average, I think.
yes.
Okay. I thought, I mean, honestly, Wayne, I was going to say, can't you send out some sort of communication? I didn't know that the state was tripping you off on that.
No, that's
They
why
don't
the
have
website
any of
allows
those
us to get
advisories
around
for
that.
anything.
Cause they know, they see our website and I make it known to them. So that's why the results are posted right, the minute I get the results, I have her post them up there.
But I think everyone's looking for something that says the water advisory is over.
But if I
you
sent
can't do
that
it, you
out and
can't-
then we test in the other direction, it's like, it's conflicting.
Right, but what you're saying is you cannot send it out, it's not a matter
Well,
of.
the interesting thing in the whole thing too is where we failed, even though we're passing, we still have to build the treatment, right?
Yeah, you still,
So
because it can go the other way.
even though we're in compliance, we still have to build the treatment plants. It doesn't make sense, but
But we did ask Taylor and Howard to look into if we stay below as we can, because we have to continue to test. If it stays below, maybe we can put off one of the projects so that we don't hit all this, because we have to do the treatment for the iron and manganese down here. And maybe we can schedule things out a little bit better too. But they were gonna talk to them, but they didn't, nobody's asked that question yet apparently.
What do you have to build? One treatment plant for PFAS?
We have to do
No,
a treatment
no,
plant
it's-
mainly for PFAS, but then we're also talking about a treatment plant down here for iron and manganese, which would also be set up so you could add PFAS treatment in the future, because they're not gonna make the rules less stringent. They're gonna make them
It's gonna,
more stringent as you go forward, so, we don't have high levels, but we might as well be
and
ready.
the thing was that it seemed like we were failing with the finished water, not with the raw water going into the plant. So we had our own little theory that maybe it was caught in the filters and releasing it from there. Wayne started air scouring, which is a more aggressive type of scouring of the media, which he did a number of times, and then all of a sudden, we started passing. But the state wasn't too impressed with our, with how we did it. So,
they like to see long-term track records.
yeah.
The other thing is, so Massachusetts, we're testing for PFAS six PFAS chemicals out of 20 parts per million. The federal government is gonna test for 29 plus the lithium, and their level is set at 70. The reason it's set higher is because now you're testing for 29. We're part of we were designated to be part of the UCMR 5 testing for the 29 part of the federal government, but they pick and choose when they're gonna tell me to test for it. So once we do that, we'll have an idea how we're gonna fare in the future when the federal government enacts legislation that forces it.
Do they have you do any soil samples around these sites where you've had the elevated levels, just to see if maybe you can narrow down where it's possibly coming from?
I could tell you where to dig, because I can see soil moving, but they won't do that. The state won't pay for that. I don't even know what that would cost. It started at about $400 for this PFAS test. It's now up, I think it's like $525 a test.
Right, but
It's
I mean,
escalating rapidly.
isn't that something the state should be looking at?
I think they're figuring out that this stuff is in so many places that they just, in the water, dump it on the water.
Now it's
they have to do
now
it.
they're saying it's in all the food product, all the
Right.
vegetables and everything.
Your house probably has higher levels, but it's not regulated. They could regulate water, and they did. So now they're gonna push it backwards to stop it from getting in the water. It's reverse
Well,
engineering.
It's in,
eventually.
I mean, if you read
Yeah.
about it, it's in makeup too. It's in all
Everything.
sorts
Oh, yeah,
of
it's-
products have some form of PFAS in it.
I imagine testing the soil would be more when you were doing a new well. It wouldn't really help you now because the well's there.
Yeah, they don't, usually they drill the well and then they test the water coming up out of it.
I'm just
That
wondering
was
if
what
it's
we
leaching from a
did here.
certain area. Is there
Yeah,
a
but
way for it to get
you'd
in?
have to go and test probably different, all over the place, all different levels
Right.
in the ground. I mean,
Let's just build the $11 million plant and be done with it.
No.
Or if you
It's
do
not
all
what
that
anybody wants
testing,
to
and
do,
you
but-
still have to. 'cause
No, I know,
It's
I'm
not
just-
like you can cut it off.
It's,
Well, the 10 million is basically for the iron and manganese, it's not for the PFAS, but you put the vessel in that can handle the PFAS. Our vessels at Manley Street are shorter, they can't handle the media, there's not enough time in the vessel.
so you saying the 10 to $11 million?
It's 8 to 10, we'll try to
8
get
to,
them.
8 to 10, 8 to 10 is
It's
for the
to treat
manganese
from,
and iron.
but that's to treat 5 sources.
Okay, and then we have to do another project at Manly?
Right, the long term for PFAS. If the numbers stay down and we can show a track record that they're staying down,
Yeah,
then maybe we can get them to back off on our long term and we just stay with the short term. But they like to see it under 10. When, the minute you go above 10, then they force you to monthly testing.
but that long-term solution for Manly, is that another 8 to 10?
No, that's 2 to 3, but they can't, they're having problems estimating costs because the supply chains are all screwed up. And China's in lockdown again in various areas, so it's not gonna get any better anytime soon. NAFTA was not good for us.
So on to the good news.
Good news?
Oh,
I'm
there is
waiting.
good news, yes. We won an award, but it was basically for the tap out there, $7,890.
We won.
So we did win a PFAS grant
To pay for.
for the
Yeah, how much money did you get?
$7,890.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Well, it's better than nothing.
Right, it's something.
Yeah,
But I looked,
Yeah.
there weren't too many large awards, they were all small awards.
Yeah, well, how much did you expect to get for a tap?
I didn't want everything, not trying to hit the home run here to save the town.
Where'd that come from?
But they're not, that came from the Baker Polito administration. And basically, they're all coming out of, now I'm losing the acronyms, where's my acronym sheet? That's software.
Just make one up, Wayne, it's
Yeah,
okay.
nobody
yeah,
will.
no one's gonna know.
But it's where all the money got pushed to and we got
ARPA?
of it. No, it's, when the federal government signed it, they pushed it all to Mass DEP for the S, begins with an S. It's not, I'm
Not
not,
the SRF stuff.
yeah, it's not, I'm not gonna.
Because the ARPA stuff in Mass went to the county, that ARPA
Right.
went to counties, not to the state.
Right. SRFs, they went to the. Mass
SRFs,
DEP.
that's the
SRFs,
loan
that's where
fund.
all the money went to. There are some grants in there, but it's more loans than anything else. All of that money suddenly didn't become handing out. It suddenly went to loans. There are small grants
But
here
what
and
we
there.
just got is a grant, we don't have
Right.
to give it.
We don't have to pay that back.
Hey, $7,000 is $7,000, we'll take it.
Pay for the electric bill for it, no, pay for last month's chemical,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, no, man,
Well, good job, Wayne.
yeah.
Yeah. Anybody got
Cash is cash.
anything else they wanna bring up?
No, we already welcomed Dylan, so.
Yeah?
I got nothing.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, next
the
meeting is when?
The next meeting is the first Monday of May, which is May 2nd.
Okay.
There's no holiday, it's actually gonna be on
No.
Monday.
Yeah.
Monday.
All right, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Would you like to do the honors?
I'll make that motion.
I'll
To
second
adjourn.
it.
Okay, second, all in favor?
Aye.